I completely lost it, which is so out of character for me. And after, I just got so curious, like, what was that?
Can't be contained.
That's what I'm talking about. What's up, you guys? In this episode, I am diving into the essential somatic practices that every entrepreneur needs. You guys, entrepreneurs, the amount of energy that is coming in and out of our bodies every single day is so intense. It's so much. It's really important that we release that somatic buildup in our bodies so that we don't feel like a psychopath 24/7. You do not want to miss this episode. This episode is powered by Pause Breathwork. You guys, our somatic coaching certification is open for enrollment. This is a journey to turn you into a certified masterful somatic coach. Now, this is some of the deepest work that I bring to my students. I teach my students how to be a powerful somatic coach, how to actually begin to heal the trauma that is stuck in our bodies and liberate it back into divinity. When we are in the womb to 7 years old, we have trauma and pain that is stored in our bodies. And if we don't know how to release it, how to let it go, how to disidentify with the parts of us that are just these young parts, we get lost, we loop, and we really begin to live a life that is not truly ours and not our true nature. And so this journey will turn you into a masterful somatic coach so you can really bring this work to the world in a beautiful way. It's also an incredible personal development journey. It allows you as well to heal your body and really come home to yourself as you're learning how to do this work for others. You can head over to pausebreathwork.com/somatic. That's pausebreathwork.com/somatic. All right, we'll see you inside. All right, little life update. What's happening over here? So a couple weeks from now, we're heading to Estonia for Mind Valley. You guys, if you're going to be there, please let me know. I would love to hang with you. I'm going to be teaching Breathwork July the 4th there in Estonia. I heard it's just absolutely extraordinary over there. So Eric and I will be hanging out and just having a good time. It's kind of like a pre-honeymoon vibe. That's how we're like going about this little holiday to Estonia, which honestly was like very last minute. I did not expect to be going on such a big trip before the wedding, but hey, life is magical sometimes and you just have no idea the surprises and the twists and turns. And sometimes I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel. Let's just see what happens over here. So that is happening. Wedding stuff is all good to go. Oh my God, I'm so excited for my dress. Like when we went dress shopping in February, I tried on, I think like 45 dresses or something like that. And the 44th one, I'm like, I'm so tired. I just want to go home. And then like the last dress I tried on was the one. And I had no expectations for it. I was like, okay, guys, just shove this thing on me. And then like, I'm going to bed because I'm so damn tired. But I put it on and then my energy was just like, whoa, oh my God, this is it. So I'm so excited about it. I want to tell you guys all about it, but I also don't want Eric to listen to this podcast. So maybe we'll just wait till October 5th. It's going to be so fun. It's been so fun. Just all the festivities and all the love and hanging with my bridesmaids and getting excited, getting ready. Oh my God, my friends are just so dope and so rad, and everyone's just showing up in such a beautiful, big way and just being so supportive and loving. And I mean, they're always like that, but during this time has been just even more so. And I'm just so pumped. It's going to be such a fun summer. It is I was going to say my last single summer, but that's weird because we've been in a relationship for 5 years and it's not like I'm single. But my last, non-wife summer, is that it? I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying. All right. So the reason why I want to do this episode is because I want to share a little embarrassing story. Like I kind of can't believe I'm talking about this on my podcast, but like, fuck it. Let's go because I just want to be as real as possible with you guys. So this year's just been intense, right? 2024, but I knew it would be because I have a big mission and I want that mission to reach a lot of people, and it is, and it has, and it continues to. And sometimes you got to just like restructure the whole thing in order to continue to have sustainable growth, right? Businesses just are constantly dying and rebirthing. And that's the good thing. And that's also like the hard thing. Yeah, it's just been like, yeah, I call it my wedgie era. Like it's just like a little bit of like ooh, I think I got a wedgie, you know? It actually lifted a couple weeks ago, like maybe like a month ago now. And so I'm feeling like really great now. But the first 3 months, 4 months of this year were like ouchie banana sandwiches. So anyway, I was flying home from Seattle and we went to go to our gate and the plane was delayed by like 3 hours or something. And I was like, no big deal, all good. And I'm like, Eric, let's just go to the Amex lounge and we can just chill and eat and have fun and catch up on some work and whatever. So we do that. We go up to this Amex lounge and I'm already feeling like, 90 days of kind of intensity in the business, and we've been traveling, and I'm like not feeling my most energetically aligned, powerful self. I'm just not feeling myself. And so I go up and I give him my card and he just looks at me and he's like, this card's expired. And I'm like, wait, that's impossible. And I like look at the expiration date and I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, here's the expiration date. He's like, well, you can't come in. And I'm like, well, why? He's like, because this card's canceled. I'm like, dude, this is running my whole business right now. Like I'm literally paying Mark Zuckerberg as we speak for Facebook ads with this card. Like there's no way that it's expired. And he's like, can you just go over there and like call Amex? And I'm like, no problem. So I walk around the corner and I like sit down on this like leather chair. And as soon as I sit down on this leather chair, you guys, 3 Amex lounge, I don't know, what are they? Attendants like swarm me like right in my face and get so close and just start yelling at me, telling me that I can't be in the Amex lounge because I don't have access yet. And it was one of these moments in my life where there was like this emotional invasion. And I just sort of like threw my hands up and I was like, get out of my face. And I just yelled in the middle of the Amex lounge, like kind of as loud as I could. And Eric's behind me and he's whispering in my ear. He's like, just be a leader, just be a leader. But there was something in that moment where I just, boom, I just like had a little bit of an explosion. And I'm like, whoa. That was wild. That is so out of character. Generally, my capacity for handling stuff is like so high. I just don't really get, I don't know. It's just like I have a large capacity for holding a lot of stuff. And that was a moment where it like tipped me off. So I had this little freak out. We went back in the elevator and down to the main floor. And as soon as we did that, I just got so curious. And Eric and I sat in the airport and we're eating sushi. And I'm like, babe, what was that? And he looks at me and he's like, I don't know, babe, what was that? I'm like, I think I have this somatic subconscious stack in my system that has been building and building and building and building and building. And I don't think that I've released it to the degree that it's coming in. Like there's so much coming at me on a daily basis right now. And I haven't been like pooping it out, for lack of a better term, like I think I'm just really emotionally constipated. And so that moment was just like this wake up call for me to go, wow, how can I empty out even more than I think? Like I've been doing 20 minutes of breath work every single day since I found it, which was about 15 years ago. But I'm like, maybe I need to do 40. Maybe like what is going on here? And so for the next month or so, I just got so obsessed with the subtleties of how my body is communicating to me when there is that subtle stack happening, right? And so what I was mindful of is like, how can I balance the input of the energy that's coming into my world with the output? And I really began playing with this. And I realized I came to this discovery that there's 8 minutes where that's how long it took me to go from like agitation to complete peace. 8 minutes. And so at Pause Breathwork, that's like the threshold of when we go from a integrative breathwork session to a meditative breathwork session. After that 8 minutes is when we begin to sort of lose touch with our physical world and we go into more like the esoteric world. And so I was thinking, is that the same for all somatic practices? And I began really playing with that. And what I discovered is it is. And so whenever I felt the subtlety of this somatic stack, this tension that arose, I was like, all right, Sam, you've got 8 minutes. What is the practice that you want to integrate into these 8 minutes, right? And so obviously breathwork is my favorite thing ever, right? Breathwork, and not subtle breathwork. Like for me, when I'm feeling agitated and I'm feeling like, there's like something building, I have to do like a deep triactive breath with an audible exhale. So something like this, like, and like really getting like primal with it and using my voice as a portal of releasing the energy that's stuck in my body. 8 minutes, okay? Again, if you don't want to do the breath and you just want to do some like primal screaming, do that for 8 minutes. What I recommend here is getting on your hands and your knees and getting really like animalistic about it and like using that like guttural scream to begin to like unearth and excavate a lot of that stuff that is just like stuck in the body. Another beautiful practice that I love doing is wall pushing. So really like pushing against the wall, letting the force of your palms just melt into the wall and just like one hand over the other and just like pushing your body and like getting your whole body into that. That feels really good. Pillow screaming is another great one. Oh, that's a really healthy one. The other day I was hanging out with some friends and we do these family dinners. So it's like all of our friends, but they just kind of feel like family. And one of my guy friends, his daughter, she's got a lot of fire like me. And we were talking about it. I was like, what do you do with your fire? Like when it comes up? And she's like, I hit my brother. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like maybe we should try something else. And she's like what? I'm like, have you ever tried pillow screaming? She's like, no. I'm like, let's go. And so during dinner, we just like grabbed pillows and we were just screaming it into together. And watching this 11-year-old girl shift in that moment was so cool. She's like, that was so fun. I feel so much better. I'm like, great. So whenever you feel that somatic like annoyance in your body, like go grab the pillow. She's like, got it. Right? The other thing is like emo dancing. The other day, I just put on the song Linkin Park, In the End. In the end, it doesn't even matter. And I just like danced and I just let it go and I let it all shake out. Mama Gina has a practice called swamping, which is a similar thing. You just like dress up and you stomp and you kick and you punch and you just get all emo about it. But guys, whatever your thing is, pick a thing. Like pick your thing. Maybe it's breathwork. Maybe it's primal screaming. Maybe it's wall pushing. Maybe it's pillow screaming. Maybe it's emo dancing. Maybe it's swamping, whatever it is. But like choose the thing that you know works for you and just go for it. Just go for it. And what we want to be mindful of is what are those nuances? Like how do we know when our bodies are communicating that we've got a somatic stack? Because when I reflected back on that journey of like having a freak out in the Amex lounge, those poor Amex, if you guys are listening to this podcast, I'm sorry, okay? Could you imagine just like someone writes a review like, it was me. I'm sorry for yelling at you, but it was a lot in that moment. It was a lot. So funny, right? It's like how I let it build. Like I let it build in that moment, but how do I not ignore the subtleties and really pay attention to the subtleties so that they don't become bigger and they're not having a bigger impact? Because it's emotionally expensive to hold that energy in our bodies, especially as entrepreneurs, right? Most of us are constantly emotionally constipated. So how do we just take a little dump? How do we dump a little bit of that energy so that we can allow that lightness to come back in, that ease to come back in? Yeah. How can we process the energy that arises in our body? And through those little 8-minute ditties, we're going through a death and rebirth cycle, right? We're going through a death and a rebirth cycle. We are shedding away. We are dying off. We are letting go of an old part of us, an old trigger, an old part. And we are coming into more power, right? Every single time we do a somatic practice, we're coming into more power. There's a rebirth. So how can we give ourselves permission to have these rebirth moments, to let go, let die what no longer serves? At my speaking gig a little while ago, there was an amazing woman, Kristen, who did her talk was all around like death and all around grief and really coming to terms with like, we're all going to die, right? And how do we accept death so that we can begin to really live? And so her talk was fascinating. It was so great. She was one of those speakers where I was like, dude, you got to like do this like full. It was like her second gig. And I went up to her after. I'm like, no, this is like, this needs to be a thing. Like you need to be a speaker. You're freaking phenomenal. And anyway, her talk was all about coming to terms with our death. And so naturally, that night I was like, how am I going to die? What's that going to be like? And then I just started to like think about it. And I'm like, will it be snowboarding? No. I definitely don't want that. And then I was like, I know how I want to die. Death by breath. Just when I'm doing breath work one day, when I'm like 95 years old or 105 or whatever I'm going to be, I'm doing some triactive pause breath work. And then all of a sudden, boom, I just go meet God. Like that would be great. I think that would be like a really great way to go. Oh, that's so weird. I'm sorry for being so weird, but it was just my honest truth. I like couldn't sleep that night. Calgary's weird. The sun goes down at like 11:30 or like something dumb like that. Maybe it's not that late. Maybe it's like 10, but it's like freaking late out. And so I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm just going to think about how I'm going to die. And that was what came to me, you guys. That is where my brain went. Anyways, all right. This is brought to you by the Somatic Coaching Certification. If you've been circling around this training for a while, what are you waiting for? Get your booty in the door. This is our signature somatic coaching certification. It'll turn you into a powerful somatic coach so you can do somatic sessions on your clients. If you're a mindset coach and you haven't yet used the body to transform, let's go. Or if you're an aspiring coach or healer or facilitator, you don't have any formal training, but you want to learn how to do this, head on over to pausebreathwork.com/somatic. That's pausebreathwork.com/somatic and let's go. Okay, have an amazing rest of your day. I love you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.